Coming up on Michigan Replay, in a Big Ten showdown with Purdue, Michigan remains standing with a huge win. We'll see the highlights. We'll also meet a man that helps make Michigan football last a lifetime with a labor of love. And we'll look ahead to another major confrontation. Don't look now, but it's Michigan State Week. We'll scout the Spartans. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by the Joy of Pepsi and by Big Boy Restaurants. Big Boy makes you say, oh boy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. Well, Michigan versus Purdue, 31-3, Michigan. Congratulations, Lloyd Carr.
Thanks, Jim.
A showdown game in the Big Ten, and you came up with a victory.
Well, it was a great win, and our kids came ready to play. They had some great plans our coaches put together, but they really had a great day in that stadium.
That defense that Jim Herman put together on Saturday, 11 guys at the ball, no safeties. You had me jumping out of the broadcast booth, but it worked big time, didn't it?
Well, he did. Ron English and Bill Sherrod and Steve Morrison, our defensive coaches put together one great plan. It was an aggressive plan. There was some risk to it, but our guys understood the risk, and our players did a great job of getting to the football.
Well, it was sure worth it because you had a great victory. Let's go take a look at the highlights. Here we go. First half, your second possession.
Well, our defense stopped them on third down. First 3 downs, forced a punt. We get decent field position, and we open the drive here with a 10-yard runoff tackle. Chris Perry behind Tony Pape, and here good protection. And John hits Jason Avant down inside the 35-yard line of Purdue.
And in the early going, Avant was one of his favorite receivers.
Well, we caught him down across the middle. Here again, Jason catches the football, gets up the field for 4 or 5 extra yards, and we're knocking on the door here, Jim.
And here's a great look by John Navarre, looking left and coming back right.
Well, you're right. He looked the safety off, and Braylon got inside the corner. John threw the ball up high, and Braylon made a great catch with the ball away from his body.
7-0 Michigan at that point, and here comes the defense.
Well, Ernest Shazer, we knocked the ball loose, Jim, 3 or 4 times with blitzes of quite an assortment. Here, they're forced to punt again, and this kid, Breston, feels another bouncing ball that he positions himself where. Here's a great block right here by Jason Avant. And Steve gets us down inside the 50-yard line. Great field position for the second time in a row.
Great field position. And the thing you did is you stayed with the run. Even though it was spotty at times, you stayed with it.
Well, it was hard. And there's a great block by Pape and Tony Boss. And our fullback had a great day, I think. But here we hit go for the bomb, and Jason Avant was in position to make a catch, and we got an interference call, which was a good call here.
And then you come back with a big reverse, and this is a huge play. And watch the blocking here by Navarre.
Well, Dave Pearson's out there, and John really blocks the same man twice there, and Steve makes a good play. But big plays were a big part of our offense on Saturday, Jim.
And that gives you a 14-0 lead. The defense continues to play well here. And then your offense gets the ball back, and John gets the ball to Breston, who gets upfield for a first down.
Yep, and continue to keep our defense off the field. That's one of the things we're trying to get done here.
Here's one, it's really a coverage sack because there are just too many people out there covering.
Well, Jim, we had 3 sacks in this game, and all of them, you got to give Purdue credit. That is one outstanding defensive football team.
And your special teams have improved tremendously in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Ernest Shazer there had great coverage, made the receiver try to avoid him, and then Carl Tabb made a great tackle, and we've got great field position. Look at the hustle, people staying after the football. That, to me, was what really gave us an opportunity to have such a great day.
And right before the half ends, this is the biggest part of the game. There's a sack and a fumble, and Purdue gets the recovery.
Well, Sean Phillips, their outstanding defensive end, comes from the blind side, knocks the ball loose, and there isn't any question this was the biggest series of the game for us.
Orton is able to scramble out and get a first down inside the red zone, actually inside the 10-yard line.
Well, Willis Behringer probably saved a touchdown there, knocked him out of bounds about the 5, and so they get first down and goal at the 5. And Grant Bowman, watch the effort here. The ball almost came loose there, but we get a 4-yard loss, 2nd and 9.
And they're knocking on the door, and then this play that's coming up next really sets the tone for the whole first half.
Well, it was a great play. He gets outside of our rush. Here's Lamar Woodley missing and Lawrence Reed missing, but they forced him to avoid the rush and threw hurriedly. And this kid Hall came up with a great play, the biggest play of the game.
No question. Leon Hall, the interception. So they go to the locker room in the lead 14-zip. But you say that's not enough against a Purdue team that can score quickly.
Well, Purdue, because of the offense they use, they can score points in a hurry. They can score points without taking a lot of time off the clock. So we knew that it was going to be a long second half.
All right, when we come back, we'll take a look at that second half. But first, we hear from Ernest Shazar, who says practice makes perfect.
Well, the defense, we Coach Herman, we put a good package together last week. Practice very good last week. It was excellent practice. And we came out and we did what we had to do.
Now, the Les Stanford Chevrolet locker room report.
Well, perhaps, but we want to, we still want to stick to the game plan and just, go with the game tells us, what the game dictates. So we wanted to see how it felt. We felt it out. Coaches did a great job scheme-wise, and we did the job. And defense just absolutely gave us the ball in great position and did the job. It's on them. That game's on them today.
Well, there's no question about that. That defense was outstanding on Saturday. And you go to the second half, and you get the ball. And I thought that first possession was going to be huge. Turned out you couldn't get anything out of it, and they come back, and they get a big play.
They got good field position here, Jim. And Larry Stevens, we got hit here, but the quarterback Orton made a great throw. We had him double covered, but he got outside of us, and now great field position here.
But this is 2nd and 4. Look at the defense fight to keep him out of the end zone.
Larry Stevens made a wonderful play here. He did not take, he sensed a pass, kept contained on the quarterback, and we come up with a big 4 or 5 yard loss there.
And they try to go to a fade to their 6'9" receiver, and here's Leon Hall. What a great defensive play.
Unbelievable for a true freshman to make that play on a guy
but that's
tall.
Technique in a perfect position.
Yes.
And how to play the fade.
Yeah. Ron English, his coach, deserves a lot of credit for a guy knowing exactly how to play that route.
Okay, at this point it's 14-3. You know they can score quickly. This is an important drive, and boy, do you guys do a job.
Well, Jim, we had not done very much with the football during the second quarter and our first drive of the third quarter. But I thought Terry Malone made a great call there. We get a first down. Here we run off tackle again. Boss up in the hole behind Pape and Kevin Dudley. And we're putting together a drive here.
And here's a great throw again to Braylon Edwards. A lot of cushion against Reeves, their corner.
Well, Braylon had made a couple of big plays, and you got to honor the deep ball with Braylon because he can run by you. Here, John makes an absolutely great throw, and because he gave Braylon a chance to use his leaping ability, and Braylon went up and made a great individual catch. And that's the way we needed to answer their field goal.
Well, and you did it, 21-3, and the defense never stopped coming.
Here's another hit by Ernest Shazar, who probably had his best game as a Michigan player.
And it's the way the defense is lined up. Look at everybody.
Yeah, everybody's where they need to be. Here's Pierre Woods made a great play to strip the football. We had it loose here in the second half 2 or 3 times, but couldn't come up with one.
And here's a long 3rd and 14, maybe one of their biggest plays of the game, gets them out of some trouble, but no yardage after the catch.
Well, you get a lot of people around him, Behringer and Hall, and here on 3rd down, a great play by Shazar, who turns it in, and Carl Diggs makes a bone-jarring hit, and now they got to punt the football.
And that was on a 3rd and short, huge play. Bone-jarring, very good, I like that.
Well, it was a hard hit anyway, Jim. But here John makes a good throw. Tim Massaquoi gets up the field for first down. And here's a big play in this game. A great punt by Adam Finley. Brent Cummings, who's done a wonderful job for us on our special teams. And Brent's brother will be playing against him this week as we travel on the road in the Big Ten. But here is a great hit by Carl Diggs and Marcus Curry, right where he should be, and scores a touchdown.
And the 28-3, and the defense deserved to score the way they played on Saturday.
Well, there's no question. They came up with a lot of big plays, and that's a defensive player's dream. And here is a great hit by Jeremy LeSueur off the corner, knocked the ball loose, but again, we didn't get it.
Right, and then you come back, though, on offense, 3rd and short, and you go to the air to get it, and what a play by Avant.
Well, Jason made a good move there and got outside the defense on a 3rd and 1 play, and now we're down in field goal position, and our field goal team executes. Garrett Rivas makes the kick.
31-3 at this point, and pretty much over, but the defense never stopped. Here's another great blitz, and it causes an interception.
Well, here again, Jeremy LeSueur, Jim Herman, I thought called an absolutely wonderful game, a great plan, great execution, and that's one of those games where everything went for us, went well, and it wasn't by accident. I think it was a great plan, and great kids did a wonderful job.
Tell me the truth. Now, during the week in practice, when you went down and looked at the defense and you saw them out there 11 across, no safeties back, did you take Jim Herman aside and say, Jim, what are you doing?
Jim, now Bo used to do that to me, but
remember,
I didn't do that to Jim because of this reason. You know, I knew, I had watched the Wisconsin game. Wisconsin couldn't get off the field, and because they were playing a lot of zone coverage, mixed in a little bit man, but I just felt the risk that he was going to take in his plan was well worth it. Now, I knew we might give up a couple of big touchdowns, but we kept getting them off the field. Our offense, we kept giving them opportunities to score.
And last thing I want to talk about this game, the special teams I thought have come on, they were great. I mean, you haven't missed a kick. You've covered well. The downing the punt inside the one really created a touchdown opportunity for the defense.
Well, Jim, you know, especially as you get into November here, field position, the weather, all those things, but field position becomes a critical part in all these games. And we feel like we've made some real improvement. Now, we're not where we would like to be, but we're headed in the right direction.
You certainly are.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. When we come back, we'll take a look at a man who has a labor of love for the Michigan football team. But first, we hear from Leon Hall, a guy who made 2 interceptions, saying it's all about making plays.
We knew we had to come out and be aggressive, stopping the run. So and we did that because we knew they were going to pass. And as soon as they passed, we had to make plays. But yeah.
Head coach Lloyd Carr and Tom Wozniak are good friends. They've known each other since 1980, and out of this friendship has grown a tradition involving Michigan football. You see, Wozniak, a high school educator in St. Clair Shores, makes special keepsakes for the players and coaches each and every year, and these keepsakes have meaning.
On Lloyd's birthday, on the way to dinner, his first year here, he said to me, I've got this great idea about giving the kids a piece of equipment or something that has some character that would cause or show the team togetherness, holding the team together. And he came up with the rope, and which was probably the easiest idea that we had.
Since that rope started it all, there have been others, all of them with a message, thanks to the brainstorming of Wozniak and Carr.
We've done a lot of different things. The second thing we did was building a championship season where we did a thing with some bricks, and we built a wall basically out of bricks that had each kid's name on it and coach on it. He was concerned one time about the kids staying focused and on course. We did a theme with a compass, and each kid got a compass that said stay the course on it. He read a book one time about a ship called Endurance, and the trials and tribulations that the crew had. He did another book that he read, which was In Thin Air, about the climbing of Mount Everest. We did the picks, which was our most successful season, and of course I'll take credit for that. So we have a give and take situation in regards to the ideas that he thinks should be brought upon, and I try to tell him what I can do for him, and then after about 3 or 4 times going back and forth, we come up with an idea, and then I get to spend my summer getting them all ready together.
Coach Carr is the idea guy in this dynamic duo, but Wozniak is the real worker. Besides helping with the ideas, he puts all these keepsakes together for every player and coach on the team. That's over 100 items, and some of them aren't easy. But don't tell Tom Wozniak it's not worthwhile. He's helping make Michigan football memorable for many young men.
I'm fortunate being assistant principal here at Lakeview High School that I'm able to utilize some of the facilities we have to do some of the large major work, some of the painting, some of the milling of the wood that has to be done. Once I've got the bulk of it done, I take it back home to my house, and then my wife and I, we have a crew of 2 that complete the projects and do the labeling and the markings that have to be done to get it ready for the presentations that happen at the end of the summer. What really makes me feel good is when the kids that come back, that have graduated, that have said to me, hey, you know, I still have my pick, I have my shovel, I have my block of wood on my mantle, and it means so much to me to let me know that they appreciate what we've done for them. Like I said, it's not work, it's an honor.
Well, the one thing I got out of this is you read a lot of books, man.
Well, you know, Jim, you put it right on the nail on the head there. The work and effort that Tom, the commitment that it takes. Now, he's done that for going on 9 years now. And there's 105 players, and there's coaches, and so I can't say enough about what he has meant to our football program.
And the messages that are there, they last a lifetime. I
Yeah.
like the story about kids that come back after they've graduated that say, this is one of my most important keepsakes. That's a lot. That says a lot.
He's a special man. And
Yes.
those students at Lakeview High School, they better realize how
they're lucky to have
he's
him.
out there every morning in the parking lot welcoming them to school. What about that?
I like that. Well, the Michigan State Spartans are going to welcome the Wolverines next week. We'll talk about that. But first, we hear from Braylon Edwards, who says he knows all about next week's game at MSU.
We won't think too much about next week, but just everybody that's ever played in the game knows it's a big rivalry. Nothing ranked, nothing, who's better, nothing means anything in that game. It's just all about who wants to know, who has the will to win.
Now, the Les Stanford Chevrolet Locker Room Report.
Yeah, it's a championship game. From here on out, it's all championship game. You know we got to be at a championship level in order to win the game next week.
Well, it happens every year. This year it's big, probably bigger than some past years. It's always big, but
I don't know about that, Jim.
No,
it's
but
always
because of the ramifications of the game. The fact that they're unbeaten in the conference, and you guys have your own destiny in your own hands. Michigan State this year is even bigger.
Well, it's always a big game, but certainly there's a lot at stake in this one.
And they are a very good football team. Maybe the surprise team in the Big Ten. Would you agree?
I don't think there's any question they're an outstanding football team. Now, whether or not they're a surprise or not, I don't know, because they are a very talented group of guys, great leadership, great players, and they've had a wonderful season.
And they've got a new offense. Jeff Smoker, their quarterback, is a little more run and gun look with new coach John L. Smith in there.
Well, they certainly spread the offense out, and Jeff has done a great job making decisions. And this kid, Jaron Hayes, has really had a productive year for him as a running back.
And very much like Purdue, they got all kinds of receivers because they'll spread the ball out. Nageem Shabai is a kid that has done a real good job this year.
Jim, they have converted some guys from other positions, and they had some people coming back. They've done a wonderful job developing some wide receivers in that offense.
And defensively, Greg Taplin is one of their big studs on defensive end. But the guy who makes a lot of plays is their linebacker, Mike Lebenjo.
Well, Taplin leads them in sacks. Lebenjo's the leading tackler, so they're playing with a lot of intensity, great movement to the football, doing a good job against the run. Jim, the most impressive thing about this football team is their turnover margin. They lead the Big Ten in turnover margin. And when you add the fact great kicking game, great punter, great field goal kicker.
Field goal kicker's got 4 over 50 yards, Dave Rayner.
Yeah, there is no surprise in what they've been able to achieve because of the turnover margin of kicking game.
There are people out there who say that it was good that maybe you played Purdue prior to this game because you got the same look at the same kind of an offense. Are they the same or are they different?
Well, they're the same from the standpoint that they're going to spread you out, but there's a lot of difference in the offense. So, yeah, there's some similarities, but there's a lot of differences as well.
The other key, again, has been their turnover margin, but their defense. Last year, defensively, they did not play that well, and this year, basically with the same personnel, they're playing a whole lot better.
Well, they're getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They do a great job rushing the quarterback, and their secondary's playing well. They're a well-knit, well-rounded football team.
And it's a big game because there are conference championship ramifications involved. Do you like that?
Well, and it's always a big game regardless, but it certainly has a lot riding on it.
When you go into this game, from a preparation standpoint, where do you work coming off of a Purdue victory?
Well, I think we'll look at the film and understand that certain things went our way. There will be some things in there we need to work on, but what I do like is the fact that our kicking game is improving. We've got to continue to work on that. And offensively, we'd like to run the football better than we did, protect the quarterback better.
And lastly, you had a friend of yours pass away, an old high school coach you wanted to mention.
I want to pay tribute to a giant in my life, Jim, an unassuming, great teacher, man of great character and integrity. Pat Ankney, Riverview High School, went there in 1951, touched thousands of lives. Just a great man.
All right, our sympathies go out to the family there. Meanwhile, join us next week. It's a big one, Michigan State. We'll have it all right here on Michigan Replay.
Michigan Replay has been brought to you in part by Abso Pure Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908. By Fifth Third Bank, working hard to be the only bank you'll ever need. And by State Farm, providing insurance and financial services.